ARCA Series, fire in our soul. Wheels keep turning, never lose control. Spark ARCA Series, racing through the fight. Born for glory, built for flight. Spark ARCA Series, fire in our soul. Wheels keep turning, never lose control. Spark ARCA Series, racing through the fight. Born for glory, built for flight. Spark ARCA Series, fire in our soul. Wheels keep turning, never lose control. Spark ARCA Series, racing through the fight. Born for glory, built for flight.
If it's Monday, it's time for the Shark Monkey Golf ARCA Series. Well, really it's not, because this week we are off and we allowed some other drivers to join in our kind of special event dirt race here. Tonight we will, you'll be watching the SPARK ARCA Showdown at Knoxville. This is Johnny Rapp, joined in the booth by Justin Wilson, and a little bit later on, Chase Berry during one of the heats, and he'll be our in-race reporter tonight. Knoxville Speedway is going to be a very exciting show in these ARCA cars. Man, but one dirt race, you know, hey, not for points, so might see some haymakers out here. Justin, what do you think we're going to see?
Yeah, we're going to see, well, a lot of these guys are mostly asphalt drivers, so that transition to dirt, we're going to see, you know, a lot of people are going to be struggling, but we're also going to see some of those guys that may struggle on the asphalt kind of shine here tonight. But yeah, dirt is just a whole nother beast than what these drivers are used to, so it's probably a good thing it's an exhibition race.
Absolutely, yeah. Hey, it's going to be exciting regardless. We'll move into our stories to follow here. Point number one here, race the track. It's one very unique thing about iRacing, since they've added dirt. Now there's like dynamic track wear, right? So yeah, we're going to see the lines move around a little bit, and it's going to be about staying on top of that to be as fast as possible.
Yeah, the next one, Johnny, is definitely going to be managing those restarts. You know, we'll guaranteed we'll have some, you know, these kind of spins and bring out these yellows tonight, and getting that initial jump on those restarts, making sure you're not, you know, diving off into the slick, into the corners on these restarts to try and get that run. So managing the restart, especially as the leader, because you have such a huge advantage on dirt racing as the leader.
Yes, sir. And then our third point, stay clean. Yeah, it's definitely, hey, it is a dirt track, but clean driving will prevail. You don't want to bang up the right side of that car too bad, because it will eventually damage your suspension and make life hard on you. And there is no fast repairs here tonight, so these drivers are going to have to really mind their P's and Q's while they're sliding around this, I believe, half-mile track.
Yeah, and then that last one, a very important one, risk versus reward. How aggressive are you going to be? Pick and choose when is the opportune time to throw that deep slider and possibly take you or the person you're trying to pass out of this race. So yeah, I mean, aggression, kind of is going to be a key role tonight. How aggressive you're going to be.
Yeah, we will have to see. I think now is probably a good time for us to, as qualifying is beginning, we're going to step down trackside for the playing of the national anthem. We'll be right back on the other end. And we are back right here at Knoxville Speedway as these cars are out here qualifying right now. Yeah, so the plan is to move into heat racing after this qualifying session. We're going to have 10 lap heats, taking the top 10 of each into the feature, and then there will be a last chance race after that, 15 laps, with the top 4 advancing. So yeah, I think we might be sending a couple cars home. I'm not too sure how many we have signed up here tonight. I know it's right around that 24 car mark, but yeah, it's all going to come down to these heat races.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, it's going to be important. We've seen time and time again, like, you know, let's go back to our late model stock days of running these heat races and people getting sent home off of just a simple spin or contact with another driver. And, you know, dirt racing, it's hard to stay off of each other, especially when it comes to, you know, the cornering and the amount of sliding that you do. So they're going to have to keep their noses clean, and when they're in that transfer spot, hold it tight. But I do believe we are going to have 1 to 2 drivers going home. I'm waiting on the final kind of roster here to show up on my screen.
Yeah, I think I think you're right too. Yeah, but yeah, either way, I think while we still have a minute here, we're going to go in and look at our ARCA series schedule, because you'll be able to find us right here next Monday night at Dover Motor Speedway for Evan Pienta Designs sponsored Dover race. And then, yeah, we're right at the end of the season here, so we're going to be right off to Kern and then Kansas to wrap everything up.
I'm gonna tell you what, the one track I love watching is Dover. I enjoy racing Dover myself, so looking forward to next week at Dover.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite track of the last 3 too. I know you don't like Kansas. I don't hate it, but I think in these cars it's going to be a wild show, close to plate racing, I would assume. And yeah, they're going to be packed up, and I mean, it's kind of anybody's game at that point.
Well, if it's anything like that exciting Talladega race that we saw just, 2 weeks ago, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, we only got just a few moments left. One of the things, too, before they kind of grid up, because we're not going to get to talk about qualifying times too much, but Chris French right now with a 27.48, which is faster than what he was running in practice earlier. Right now, top slot, which he's probably going to get it because we only got 5 seconds left. But we got Chris Smith and our kind of in-race reporter, Chase Berry, rolling off third.
yeah, we're going to get right down to the on-track action as our qualifying session has wrapped up. A couple cars not taking time. They're going to have to race their way in through these heats. And, yeah, you were just...
That's a bold move. Bold move to try to want to start in the back, but maybe they're anticipating some chaotic heat races.
Yeah, definitely could be that way, but hey, I'm not sure if this is going to work, but we're going to try to do the grid here with, yeah, it's not going to work because it's split, so this is all for qualifying. Hey, it's okay, we tried, but, yeah,
we'll go through the grid while they're sitting here on pit road. We'll definitely go through the grid. Chris French, 53 machine, as mentioned, with the quick time tonight. Chase Berry is going to be starting off on his outside. Levi Cox, fast group in this heat race. Number 1 is going to be starting third with Ryan Phillips in 4th. Benson Weaver rolling in the inside there in 5th, but on his outside, Rob Liedl in the 80. Seen him put some good laps around here in practice. Robert Bropes, the number 5 machine with Evan Pienta right there on his outside. Laura Wiseman having some good runs this season. Started 9th with James Stanford 10. Steve Vest, our last qualifier in heat race number 1, starting off 11th. And Max Cost and Paul Hahn are the 2 that did not qualify, but they're also not on track. So those may be our possible go-home guys.
yeah, it's very possible. Not sure. I mean, they will still have that LCQ if they forego this session here, but yeah, we're going to see if our overlays worked for this tonight, because I know the heat racing may have it messed up, but right now we are looking at, yeah, it looks like it's working, so we should be good.
Definitely don't like heat races, but we sure do. As they're coming off turn 4, Chris French is going to fire off once the green finally gets thrown as they're about halfway down the straightaway here. A little bit of tire spin as you see, but Chase Berry on that outside is going to have that run down the back straightaway. Let's see if he can do anything with it. But Chris French is going to hold the lead.
Yeah, side by side for second place. Levi Cox all the way down on the bottom. Looks like he might be able to squeeze up in front of Chase, but yeah, I think they're still going to be side by side down the straightaway there. And yeah, Levi Cox making that inside work early on here.
Yeah, the inside's going to be the preferred line until we start getting some rubber down on the bottom of the racetrack. That high line can still get that run, but it really won't come in until the bottom starts, coming together. Once it starts slicking up a little bit. That's the word I was looking for. Right now, Chase Berry, started up there in second place, is already under attack here by Ryan Phillips. Phillips is looking very low underneath. Chase is committed to that high line here in this heat race. I mean, that's probably what he's anticipating his race run is going to be, because in practice he was pretty strong up there. But we had a battle just behind them with Robert Bropes making the pass on Benson Weaver. Same kind of situation. Benson's committed that high line and Robert took it low. But I say that as Robert's all the way up high. Oh, what a save from Robert there.
Yeah, I think Robert's one of the ones I got my eye on tonight when we did that test last week. He seemed to be pretty good on that old track. Really sideways, but fast. So we'll see how he manages through these heats.
Yeah, while we have that race in the front, we're just reaching our halfway point. We have the race for the transfer spot right now between Steve Vest and Laura Wiseman. Steve Vest has been slowly catching up to that 84 machine. Laura's been committed to run it up against the wall, but Steve right there beside her. But Steve gets a little loose. He's up into the inside berm. He keeps it going straight. He's going to lose all that time, and he's only got 4 laps to go to catch back up.
Yeah, time is running out. If he wants to transfer immediately into that main, we see he gets a little high there on exit, gets up in the marbles a little bit, but yeah, still just about a second behind Laura. Back up front here, Chris French with a huge lead over Levi Cox, just under 2 seconds, but
yeah, the
Levi's
got
a little bit of pressure. Yeah.
Yeah, they're coming to the line with 2 to go as they come out of turn 4 here. But yeah, Levi just threw it into that corner, and Chase wasn't able to keep up with it. Levi, just that one corner alone, pulled about 2/10 off Chase Berry. But Chase has been a lot stronger in 1 and 2 than his 3 and 4 here. So going to have only just a handful of opportunities left if he wants to go that second place.
Yeah, he tries that inside line and kind of straightens it up a little bit, but not really able to get that run. We're going to look back here, Robert Brobst and Ryan Phillips for the 4th place position. That is the battle on track. Chris French is running away with this one on this final lap, but yeah, it looks like Ryan Phillips is going to prevail here, and Chris French comes out of 4 to win heat race number 1. Back here for the transfer spot, looks like Laura Wiseman is going to make her way into the field, and Steve Vest is going to have to fight through that last chance qualifier if we have enough cars. And
yeah, Danforth's dead over in turn 1.
yeah, he is. I feel like I've seen that 88 upside down. Maybe that's why he runs that number, so he can read it no matter which way he's facing, right?
Exactly. Well, that was our calm heat race. Are we going to have a crazy heat race? You know, usually you got 2 heat races. One's mild, one's chaotic.
Yeah, I would not be surprised. This, we've seen it, especially with those late models. It was always one or the other. You can never have both crazy or both clean, so.
Well, as their drivers are lining up on the grid, we will go quickly through this grid here as we have 13 drivers lined up for this one. We have Chris Smith be starting 1st place with Braxton DeWeese on his outside. Ryan Andrews will be rolling off 3rd with Brian Brobst on his outside. Devin Jack, good to see Devin Jack out here, last week's winner. Will be starting 5th. Logan Threlkeld, Lohor, there we go. Let's get it out. Starting 6th. Tom Lickard 7th with Dan Berg in 8th. Jacob Phillips, definitely not known for dirt racing. He told me that. Be 9th with Jake Maki right there on his outside in 10th. But I've seen Jake do some good dirt racing, so curious to see if him getting up there. Matthew Cisna will be rolling off 11th, but he did not take the grid tonight. Jacob Nickerson 12th, and Patrick O'Toole will be 13th. So some of these drivers not lining up for this heat race may allow all these drivers who participated in this heat race to just move on forward. So we'll definitely see. I know 2 drivers for sure are gone, and that's Paul Hahn and Max Cost. So those 2 being out, I think everyone's going to be locked in.
Yeah, I think you're right. And hey, that's good to see. You know, you hate sending people home. We just didn't want too cluttered of a track for the feature, and yeah, at least everybody's going to get the race. Yeah, thanks to everybody that did show up. You know, it's a kind of a one-off event, so still a pretty good crowd, and we appreciate that. Thanks to everybody watching right now. We got Ellis Thomas in the chat. Let's go, Chris Smith. Well, right now he's starting 1st in this heat. We'll see if he's able to hang on to that and get himself some good starting position for the feature. And then we have Cam Gillens written on Jacob Nickerson in the 35 car. Shout out to Cam.
Well, Chris Smith has control of this. Well, the flagman has control, but Chris Smith in the opportune spot here as the pace car's off. Green flag waves. They are off. And look at this. The 74 just gets squirrely on firing off there. Everyone had to check up for him, but they were able to keep it going. Devin did a good job bringing it to the inside to miss that, but they're 3 wide off of 2 there. Dan Berg had to lift heavily so he didn't hit that 74 of Ryan Andrews, but the battle right now is on for the lead with Chris Smith and Braxton DeWeese. Braxton DeWeese has been slowly inching him in here on all these corners, but Braxton, look at that, just hugging that inside apron, gets right underneath him, but Chris is going to have that exit speed.
Yeah, so far so good for Chris Smith, but he does have a mirrorful as he hits that berm on the inside. That's really going to unsettle that car. We are just about side by side for the lead here in heat number 2.
Yeah, the battle is intense, a lot closer than our last one up here in the front. 3 cars, throw them under a blanket. Chris Smith's probably looking in that mirror. He's thankful for seeing Logan there battling Braxton. to that third position, may be able to give him a little breathing room to pull away. But Braxton isn't giving it up.
Yeah, like you said, you could throw him under a blanket. Logan gets really sideways, trying to cut down the track and make a move on Braxton here. And not quite there, but he's right on his bumper.
Yeah, sorry, I was back looking at in the back. I seen a car way off the pace, but it was Tom Lickert got a little sideways, but he was able to keep it going, not to take away from this 3-car battle for the lead.
Logan dives it off
contact.
in. And, oh no, the 74 Ryan Andrews piles in, and
yeah,
we
that's
still got
one of
cars
those
coming in here.
That was one of those, just the difference in entry speed. Logan took that inside line a little bit quicker. Braxton kind of took that outside line. And yeah, and Ryan Andrews just plows into the wreck after Logan gets sideways. And nothing he could do. I mean, these cars, it's not like you can, turn and the car listens to you. So.
Yeah, just slight contact. And yeah, without that 74 coming in, Logan probably would have been able to save that without a caution. But yeah, like you said, 74 nowhere to go. Probably hard on the brakes, I would assume. We'll see if we can get back and get a little bit of a look at what he saw here.
Oh man, yeah, it's this Knoxville is one wide track, but when there's a car parked completely sideways, it's not so wide anymore.
Yeah, it can close off very quick, but yeah, either way, in these heat races, caution laps do not count, so we will still have three laps to go here once we get going. And yeah, man, if you're Chris Smith, I mean, it doesn't really matter right now. I guess it's good practice for the feature, but I mean, you had a pretty clear advantage there, and now it's all gone. You're gonna have to really time this restart, hope to not spin the tires too bad, and get that good run down into turn 1.
Yeah, what was one of your stories of the day, right? Managing the restarts, and that's where it's going to come down to be important here. Chris Smith's going to have the advantage more so than the initial start, because he gets to start the restart here. So he gets to time it when he wants to jump and leave Braxton and the whole group behind if he times it correctly. But we'll definitely have to see here, because he's running that bottom line. The pace truck has dipped into pit road as they come off turn 4 here, awaiting Chris Smith to fire. He does. He fires fairly early and completely clears the 15 before heading on into 1. But look back here on the outside, that 49 machine on the outside of Brian Probst. That's Devin Jack. A little bit of contact between the two. They keep it going straight, but Devin Jack now secured himself in that 3rd position. But Braxton Deweese is looking on the outside of Chris Smith. Chris Smith's kind of running low. He's protecting the slider line as they take the white flag. This is it. Braxton is basically pushing Chris Smith out of turn 2. Is he going to throw it in? He does. Slides right up. Is the crossover from Chris going to be enough as they come off of turn 4 side by side down the line? And I believe, yeah, Chris Smith is going to get it. Chris Smith is going to win heat race number 2 in exciting fashion.
Yeah, what a race to the line there. And hey, if that's a sign of things to come, we're in for an exciting night tonight, because that was some good racing up there for the lead, giving each other room, but still making that alternate line work. And yeah,
we did have a crash on that last lap as well that we did miss, and they were 3 wide going off into turn 3 with Jake Maki getting spun off the nose of Tom Lickert. Pretty much ruined his 7th place position finish there, and they end up rolling off into the back.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. We do have to set it up if you want to go back and get that queued up. We can get the side-by-side ready for later on too.
Yeah, well, actually, we could probably get this knocked out while we have a few moments here for warm-up. Find a good view here of this. Yeah, you can see. There we go. So you can see here on the back straightaway, 3 wide. Now keep in mind, this is last lap going into turn 3. Tom Lickert way back in the back gets right in the back of Jake Maki there, and it's just a ping pong effect between everyone in the back trying to fight for that transfer position here, and sends those guys down pit road.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, it's the time to get that out of the way, and yeah, we're going to see our consolation race here. It's only 4 cars. All 4 should transfer. Just a little bit of extra time for them. I think now is probably a good time to bring our pit reporter Chase Berry into the booth, and
Yeah.
he can help us call this race and tell us kind of how everything's been feeling out there.
Yeah, let me find him here. Having issues here. There we go. Chase Barry, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you. What's up?
Well, we got this little, 6-car, well, technically 4-car little consolation race here. Kind of want your input, man, on how the track's feeling. I know you were in heat race once. The track's probably a little bit different now than what it was, but yeah, give us some input.
I mean, it's pretty slick. Well, slick for dirt, right? Not asphalt. But, I mean, it's slicking up and everything like that as the more of these cars run. The bottom was very grippy for off the rip, and it seems like right now it's wearing out a little bit more. So I'm trying to see if it's going to move up or not, but I don't know. I mean, I know Levi and French was on a rails, wasn't going to touch him. Levi had a kind of shot at him, but he was, like I said, he was doing very good, running different lanes, keeping me second guessing, but he's, like I said, they're good. But I don't know, I think middle lane, the middle line, high lane, I think the bottom is starting to wear out now, but I don't know, we'll find out.
I don't know. One thing I've been keeping an eye on is you see Tom Lickert kind of just pulling away in this consolation race here. Most drivers are starting to run that top. So, the more cars that run up there, the slicker that top's going to be. And that bottom line might come in, or at least the middle, because, you don't want to drive in the slick around here.
Yeah, no, right? Unless we have extra grip. That'd be awesome. But I don't know. We'll figure it out. Let me see. All right.
Well, it looks like Patrick O'Toole's pitting.
Yeah, he made the race, so it's all good. You can call it. Go ahead and get his check. but
got his entry fee back. That's what it is.
Yeah, right. Yeah, like I said, there's gonna be a lot of overdriving in the corners. I've noticed, like from our heat. I know ours went green, but watching the second heat, like of course teammates with Phillips in there, but there's a lot of sending in and trying to do sliders but sending it too deep and knocking the people in front of you. So just trying to avoid those, like lap cars doing that, or if some crazy way I'm in the back, or just trying to avoid and stay clean, because at the end of the day, gotta have all the fenders on it. But Tom Lickert is walking away, by the way, in this consolation race.
Yeah, right now, Tom Lickert with a 2.5-second lead over Steve Vess. Steve's holding strong in second there with Matthew Cisna in third. That's the only 3 remaining cars on track. I believe Patrick O'Toole is still in the pits. We see, Matthew getting up a little too high there, maybe tagging the wall just a touch, but yeah, now is the time to learn how far you can push it. So.
Yeah, I'll give a shout out to little Steve Vest. I know he's not having a great season, like always, bad luck, but right now watching him in this race, like he's very consistently, like he's not over driving, he's not like turning the car too much. Like it seems like he knows what he's doing. Shoot, if he can be patient and let everybody wreck around him, he's gonna have a good day. And stay out of the wrecks, I think he'll have a great day.
Yeah, that's definitely the important part.
Pick.
We talked about that pre-race too, is keeping the thing clean and staying out of trouble. You see Tom Lickert running that outside line. So Chase, while you're in here and you can see this, we're going to go on board with Tom and tell us what you think about the line and the track. I know you kind of went over it once already, but
I think he's he's got kind of, like, his line's a little bit different. He's one of the ones that, like, he's not trying to, like, he's not as smooth, but it's working for him in this. Like, he's able to rip the lip in this case. But his, like, in his heat, he was always wanting to be up top and stay there. So I think his plans to be up top, as I say, that he goes middle, but I think his idea is just stay middle top and let her eat.
Absolutely. Well, hey, it's definitely working here in this heat race or consi race, but yeah, it's gonna things are definitely gonna heat up once we get into this this feature. And yeah, do you think we're gonna see? Give us your projection of if it's going to be chaotic or if we're going to have good racing like we saw at the end of that second heat.
Honestly, I don't know. I mean, our first heat was clean and green. We didn't have a caution. Our second heat, you know, had a yellow. So I mean, it all depends on, you know, what happens. I think when we get all the cars, all 24 cars in the field on the track, I mean, I think we're gonna have a couple cautions early. I'm hoping not too many. So the track can wear out. Like I said, I think I'm gonna be quick on the long run, but I'd say under 6.
Well, I would hope so, because then we'd be under yellow the whole time.
I'd say under 6 cautions for the first 40 laps. That's my projection.
Yeah.
Well, all that was being said, yeah, Tom Lickard here takes the checkered for this consolation race. Pretty much walked away 11 seconds on Steve Vest and 13 on Matthew.
Yeah.
So look out for that 99 when you're driving out there, Jay.
Yeah, we'll do. Like I said, I'm pretty sure the other ones were in the first heat. Nah, they were in this one. But yeah, I mean, we'll figure it out. Hope for the best. Who's y'all's pick for tonight? Like tonight?
Can't tell you that. It'll hurt
I'll
your
tell you my
feelings.
pick. I know it ain't me because I'm not picking me. I'll tell you my pick. My pick is Chris Smith. I think he gets it done tonight. I think he's really quick. I mean, I know he's been good all year long. I just think that horseshoe it's dirty tonight. I think it's real dirty tonight.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
I think Chris Smith is gonna.
To me, don't get me wrong, love me some Chris Smith. Hi, Chris Smith's parents. Braxton DeWeese, I think, was showing very, very strong in that heat race. Granted, they had that kind of contact there that kind of messed it all up there, but I think that 15 shows a lot of speed tonight. I'm going to be keeping an eye on him.
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to come down to Braxton, Chris French, and Chris Smith, possibly Levi, but like those three are just, I think they're in a class of field by themselves. So I think it's going to come to them. But, you know, if I had to put money on, I think with Chris Smith's, you know, year he's had all year long, I'm putting all my chips on that 28 car.
Yeah, I'm going to put my pick in on a Logan Threlkeld. He showed to be pretty quick in that heat and obviously got in that wreck. I think he's going to be able to fight his way back up through the field and maybe contend for this win by the end. And
picking the old fan favorite.
Yeah, definitely.
And,
if nothing else, just for the interview afterwards, because I know he would be fired up.
Well, Chase, we only got a few minutes left before you have to hit on to the track, man. Is there any final thoughts, any final words you like to say, man?
You know, thank you for letting me always come up here and hang out with you guys during the race. It's fun. It makes racing fun and relaxing. You know, you guys putting on. Randy for race controlling, you know, I know he's ready to hit the button a few times, but you know, that's about it. You guys putting everything on. It's having fun.
All right, man. Good luck tonight, brother.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
All right. That was the 46 of Chase Berry. We'll have to keep an eye on him tonight. And maybe, you know, if we get some cautions, we could pull him back in and get his thoughts once again. But, yeah, right now we are lining up for the grid. And this might work now.
Well, I would hope so.
No, it does not. So we're gonna have to do it the other way once again. But yeah, it's all good though. Starting up front, we got Chris French in that 53. Chris Smith, the battle of the Chris's up front in the 28. Levi Cox starting third. Braxton DeWeese starting fourth. We just talked to him. Chase Berry starting fifth. Devin Jack in the 49 starting sixth. And we got Ryan Phillips, Brian Brobst, Robert Brobst, and Dan Berg rounding out the top 10.
Yeah, 11th place, Benson Weaver in the number 1. Logan Threkel, you know, that kind of late spin there, showing that strong speed in the heat race, will be starting 12th. Evan Pienta will be starting 13th with Jacob Phillips on his outside at 14th. I'm going to have to take a look at that paint scheme. Yeah. Rob Liedl in that 80 machine will be starting 15th. Jacob Nickerson, I know we have some fans in the chat, will be 16th. James Danforth, who we saw upside down at the end of that heat race one, will be 17th. Ryan Andrews will be 18th. Laura Wiseman, 19th. Jake Maki with that pit road last lap will be starting 20th. Tom Lickert, who we saw won the consolation race, will be 21st. Steve Vest, 22nd. Matthew Cessna will be 23rd. Patrick O'Toole, 24th. And our two drivers that didn't would be Paul Hahn and Max Koss, but they called it quits early.
Yeah, maybe dirt just wasn't their cup of tea, but yeah, we've seen them out here before, and sure we will see them out here next week contending once again. But yeah, for a full field of 24 cars as we expected, that's good to see. The lights are out on that pace truck, and Chris French is going to be coming out of turn 4 here to take the green flag down the front stretch.
Yeah, waiting on the flagman to fly it, and there he does. We're off, and they're going to just scatter going off into turn 1, 2, 3 different lines that these guys are running. But Braxton, DeWeese, Levi Cox, did fireworks just go off? They sure did. I was not. Nobody told me there were fireworks. Anyways, yeah. But you can see they're just stacked too deep. Braxton Weiss is going to throw in underneath Chris Smith, 3 wide off turn 4. Thinks better of it, has to back off a little bit. But we completed lap 1. Everybody driving straight.
Yeah, so far so good. Fireworks are still going off in the infield here. And yeah, Chris Smith trying to make that outside work. We see Levi Cox down on the berm trying to get that inside rolling, and looks like that's going to lose him a spot and put him under pressure from Devin Jack for the 4th position.
Yeah, back here in the back, Logan Threkel just hit the outside wall, lost about 4 or 5 positions. And yeah, the fireworks are still going off like it's the end of the race. So.
Yeah, I'm not too sure if that's supposed to happen. But
I'm sure that is extremely distracting for these drivers on top of already what's a handful of these cars, but they are doing a great job keeping it going. As you can see back here with Rob Liedl on the inside, just trying to get past Logan Threkel here.
Yeah, up ahead of them, we see Benson Weaver in the number 1, able to get by Brian Brobst as he maybe tags the wall a little bit there. And yeah, Benson's showed himself to be a bit of a dirt racer here the last couple days. He won the mini stock race last night. He came in 3rd in the prelim tonight that Randy Bechtel beat Braxton DeWeese right at the end. It's a pretty good little race. So good to see Benson out here doing well. 3 wide down into turn 3. That 74 sends it all the way on the bottom. Ryan Andrews, a name we haven't heard too much of. He was in the in that Wednesday night, the Patriot 150 last week, and we saw him up front for a little while before he had some troubles. But yeah, cool to see some new faces out here in the Spark Racing League. We appreciate that, and yeah, pretty good run so far, getting himself up in the top 10.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of the drivers that started really deep in the field of 18th, so making a lot of headway early on here as the track's starting to settle down a little bit. I would say the racing was, you know, all lanes were open for business on these first few laps, but now everything's starting to settle in. You kind of see the top line and a little bit of the bottom right now. So it's kind of starting to fade. That middle lane's starting to fade away right now.
Yeah, definitely some split decisions here tonight, which lane to run, and we see that, as you said, it's pretty much top or bottom, not too much in the middle. We see Evan Pienta in at number 55, kind of the lone car running that middle line through there at that time, but I mean, he's making it work for him, and up in 8th place here, trying to hunt down our in-race reporter Chase Berry and 27 of Ryan Phillips.
Yeah, we got a crazy battle here with Robert Brobst here, but one of the drivers coming through the field, Ryan Andrews, is battling tight with him here, but Benson Weaver's making that outside line work. Kind of a 3-car battle here for the 9th position, but Robert Brobst is able to hold on that outside. But man, I'm telling you, that Ryan Andrews is just moving through the field right now. Oh, as I say that, he slips up there on the exit of 2. Commentator's curse. Let's move on.
Yeah, I was just going to say we're going to go on board with Benson Weaver here and watch him trying to battle here with Ryan Andrews and Robert Brobst. Man, we see that 74 really getting sideways into the corner there. Benson tries to go low and maybe get a run down the straightaway.
Oh, we got a spin in the back. Jacob Nickerson and Jacob Phillips, man, all the Jacobs here are backwards off into turn 1 and 2. No caution, but man, that was very, very close afterwards. They both go down to the apron and keep it going.
Yeah, that's kind of surprising we didn't get a caution for that, but yeah, definitely a good job by everybody getting around him as he was getting back on the track. And
yeah, it's definitely one of those. They were off the racing surface, so race control says fair game, get it turned around, get going.
Yeah, and that happened right in front of our leader, Chris French, and Levi Cox. And I'll tell you what, Levi has caught back up, and he's really putting the pressure on Chris here as we're working.
Yeah, we're just started.
14. Yep.
The craziest part about this is leaders are now hitting the tail end of the field. So while these two are racing for the lead, they're also racing to get around a lot of this lap traffic. And Braxton DeWeese got held up by the 35 just a few for almost a whole lap there. And these two leaders have just pulled away from 3rd place. But, oh, a little bit of contact there. It looks like Matthew decided he wanted that outside line, and Chris French said, "Excuse me." Kept it going straight, but that was definitely intense for the leader here.
Yeah, that could have been very bad, but
Levi gets his nose on the outside. He's going to get that run down the straightaway. Is he going to be able to hold it off? Chris French is going to run that bottom. Is he going to be able to slide up in front of Levi before the exit of the corner? No, he's not. I think Levi's going to have that run off the corner that's going to propel him to the lead right now.
yeah, side by side for the lead, Levi Cox and Chris French. We see Chris kind of get up a little higher there, and yeah, Levi is just going to power through, and then he goes right back to the bottom to protect that line.
Yeah, right now that outside line looks like it's the place to be right now. The bottom can get a good run on entry to center, but if they don't make good use of it and slide up in front of them and kind of slow that momentum of the driver they're trying to pass, it's almost a lost cause. At least right now until that top line starts to slicking out, which it's starting to.
Yeah, I am surprised because in our practice the other night, it was really bottom dominant, and it kind of moved up a little bit, but we're seeing a lot of these drivers really running that wall tonight. And
oh, we got a wreck on the front straightaway. Chase Berry hard into the inside barrier. He gets it flipped back around, and the yellow flag is out. Looked like Chase Berry had a little tangle up there with some lap traffic. We'll have to go back and take a look.
yeah, we see that 6 and Jacob Nickerson on the outside, and yeah, the 6 kind of comes down track a little bit. Chase was trying to widen out the corner, and they kind of met in the middle there. Not a whole lot of damage to that 46. So
no, yeah, Chase was, even prior to that, was definitely struggling a little bit. It fell back to the 7th position. Yeah, it didn't look like he hit the wall too hard. but definitely not help. It doesn't help, right? Got to keep the nose clean.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely could have been worse, but yeah, you saw it right there. They kind of just met in the middle. That 6 came off the wall a little bit, and Chase was trying to run his line. I'm saying the 6, and it's not. It's the 24. Is that the right number that's supposed to be on that car?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of it's camouflage. It's what's the word? The 24 is silent. It just shows a 6.
Yeah,
Wow,
it's that dirt language, you know.
Yeah. Well, whenever you accidentally make a mistake, whatever, they're after that 6 car, but little do they know you're the 24, so they'll never find you.
Yeah.
Well, while we're down here, I want to try to catch up on the chat as much as we can, right? We got Ben Keast in the chat talking about the fireworks. He said it's in the budget. Keep shooting the fireworks, Johnny. But you got the button, Johnny, so just fire it off whenever you're ready. I also did see Cindy Smith saying, hey, thank you for recognizing my shout out. But Chris French, Levi Cox, but Levi is our leader. He's going to start on the outside. As they come up forward, he guns it very, very early, and that allows Chris Smith to completely clear Chris French going off into turn 1. Chris French, who started inside for 2nd place, is now hoping he can hold on to 3rd place here.
Yeah, that opened the door for Braxton to kind of squeeze up here too, and oh my, we got some intense action back here with Devin Jack, Evan Pienta, and Ryan Phillips 3 wide here. Robert Ropes right behind that, trying to manage his way through, but we see Evan all the way down there, right on that berm. Ryan Phillips comes down the track and about hooks Devin Jack into the wall.
It is so good that these stock cars are very forgiving. You're able to just lean on each other's cars as much as you can here, because I don't think that in the last lap, I don't think there was a single car that didn't touch another car.
Yeah, you're not kidding. We got another battle up here. Chris French trying to get back by Chris Smith.
Almost have a wreck back here in the back with Robert Brobst. They were all sorts of sideways, and they're still sideways, and they're still sideways, and they're finally around. Big crash over here in turn 3 and 4.
Oh my. Yeah, we saw that. It looked like it maybe took about a lap for that wreck to finally happen, but that 74 of Ryan Andrews was one that went around.
Yeah, that wreck started in turn 2, and it carried all the way off into turn 3 before it finally happened. You can see Ryan Phillips there got checked up. Robert Brobst had to check up, and everyone's just squirreling around to try to miss, and just absolutely nothing. Nowhere anybody can go.
My huge hit for the 11 of Brian Brobst. 99 spins around, no contact there. Jake Mackey trying to lock him down, slides into the incident, and I don't know. We must have missed it, but at some point, Jacob Phillips has lost his nose.
Yeah, he lost his nose in the with Jacob Nickerson when they spun off with that onto the apron when there was no yellow. He lost his nose there.
Yeah, it looks like
Jake
Ryan
Mackey
Andrews has retired for tonight, and
yeah, there was a lot of damage on that 74 machine, and I was kind of going back and look too. Jake Mackey, I mean, he locked them up to miss, but with that 74 sliding down the track, there was nowhere he could go. It was a hard door-to-door contact, so curious to see if that didn't mess up any of the suspension or knock a toe out on that 13. And I'm gonna tell you what, having a toe out or any kind of suspension damage on a dirt race is definitely tough to, the cars are already tough to handle, but it makes it even worse.
yeah, it's definitely not what you want to see. We see that damage on the 46, still a little bit of right front, but yeah, it definitely will affect it, but how much remains to be seen. We are doubled up once again, moving back up front. Levi Cox has to try to get another start like he did the last time and defend against Chris Smith here. He does. He goes early, and he has a 2-car length lead before they even get to the line.
Yeah, we got one car way in the wall here right off the rip. That was Logan Threlkeld. He's all the way to the back of the field now, but he keeps it going straight. Yeah, we're 2 by 2 for pretty much third place, all the way back to about 8th. 2 different lines you see here, right? The middle is pretty much shot. It's either hugging the bottom or hugging the wall right now.
Yeah, there's just so much going on here. Very fun to watch here. We're going to go on board with Devin Jack as he's trying to make that crossover on Evan Pienta. Evan holds him really tight to the bottom. And
right now, Devin's doing just a phenomenal job, just keeping that car nice and straight, and just hugging, just touching that inside apron there to keep it, kind of help him wrap it around. But there's just nothing you can do against that top line right now, because that top line still hasn't faded away yet. It's getting slower and slower, creeping closer and closer to that wall. And once that happens, that inside line, it will start to come in.
yeah, and the more this track gets worn, the more you're going to see the drivers that are really good at their shine. Because, I mean, I would say that I am not very good. I do okay, but the more track wear we have, the slower I get. So we're going to see our comers and goers. But right now, I believe that Levi Cox still is the one to beat, as he has pulled a just about a second lead over Chris Smith here.
Yeah, one of the kind of tricks you could say of dirt racing, if you have to drive through the slick, is to manage your throttle. You can't drive it as hard as you can like these guys are at the top. You have to baby this thing around, keep those rear tires from spinning, and that's where the speed will be. A lot of throttle control once this track starts wearing in, which it really has. I mean, you can see off going into turn 3, maybe get a better shot on our next go around. But I mean, turn 3 from, 75% of the track is completely slicked off. And it's kind of right in that racing lane. It's pretty much right. You see where they kept their right rear tire, or their left rear tire, just above it to maximize their traction. But I'm going to tell you what, Levi Cox is putting a hurting on the field right now. As soon as I say that, he's in the wall, but we're not going to talk about that. But yeah, Chris Smith,
Chris
French with Evan Pienta
track.
Yeah, it looked like he lost a little bit of traction there coming off the corner, and I think Evan Pienta helped him out.
Yeah,
but that's
going
to be hard
up a little bit. And still, riding the wall there, and yeah, Chris French is it's kind of all falling apart. That great run he started out with, he's got to get it back together soon, because there's a pack of hungry dogs right behind him waiting to pounce.
Oh, we have a yellow on the track. I see Laura Wiseman around. I see Jacob Nickerson also around.
Yeah, and we see the 24 of Matthew Cisna backwards here. I would assume that that's going to be where we can find what happened. We see... maybe not. He's all alone. No. Looks like Laura's up ahead of him, and maybe Jacob Nickerson.
Yeah, here it is. Yeah, I see. He just... And right there is a prime example of what happens when you try to slide through the slick.
Yeah, he really cooked it off in there, and those rear tires were not having it. And yeah, just a slow spin from all three of those, and not too big of a deal. No damage, no contact, so they will get to re-rack it and get after it again here.
Yeah, we should be taking the green probably with either 29 or 30 laps to go. So we're already past our halfway mark in this race. The track is starting to show its true colors of that outside line. I don't know if you noticed or not, but a lot of those guys are struggling at keeping up beside that wall now. So now I think we're going to start seeing that bottom play a role in who's going to have that throttle control. Because one thing I did notice after Levi got into that wall, he started running the bottom.
Yeah, definitely things are going to start moving around a little bit. And hey, it's going to be exciting to see who can capitalize on it. We do have somebody in the chat, Heather, saying, "Go Santa." Santa is a Logan Threlkeld, and unfortunately a little bit further back in the field than what I would have liked. That was my pick for tonight. And a lot of right rear damage on that car. But hey, he's not out of it yet. Hopefully we can see Logan gain some more spots and maybe get something done at the end of this race here.
Yeah, still got plenty of time to get up there through the field, especially now that the track slicked off. It's a little trickier to drive, so we might see some guys fade to the back. But Levi Cox opts to take the outside. That's where most of the grip is right now on the track on the exit of 4. He takes off early, but Chris Smith, I think, was ready for it that time, but not quite as good. Chris Smith dives down on the bottom run of that inside line. Look at this, almost clears the 54, but then he gets all into that slick off the corner, and there's nothing you can do to fight off that outside line.
Yeah, but he's got himself in position. If he could stay door to door with the 54 to maybe try that move once again and see if he can clear him off down into turn 1 here. But yeah, not quite close enough, I don't think. So that 54 almost tags the wall, and that high line is still prevailing. We see Chris French is a man on a mission right now. After that contact with the wall and Evan Pienta, he is ripping that outside line. Got himself back up in here into 3rd place. More contact with Evan.
Yeah, that 53 and the 55 can't keep him away, but Chris French almost loses it in the center of the corner there. Great job getting that straight back up. Devin Jack had to check up to miss that 53, and I'm pretty sure he thought he was going around as well. Stacks is pretty much the field up behind him.
Yeah, we saw 3 wide for a moment there between Benson Weaver and Ryan Phillips. And yeah, pretty good little run from Benson here. And Ryan's been kind of sneaking his way. He's been up here in the top 10 kind of quietly. And a good run from him so far. I think we just saw Braxton tag the wall pretty good. But he's able to keep that momentum going in 4th place here. Evan Pienta makes a move on Chris Smith for 2nd place. Chris running that high line, and Evan's trying to make that bottom middle line work. See him all the way down there on the bottom. And
right now the line in turn 1 and 2, that you can run that kind of middle line, but once they're underneath going off into turn 3, it's tough. It's tough for these drivers to keep that car from just, you know, the rear tires just spinning out. Especially in turn 3. I mean, it is definitely slick off into this corner. You can see where Evan's searching for that kind of moisture in the track, and it happens to be down there by the apron, while the rest of it's up next to the wall.
oh, we see Chris gets a little loose, and some contact with Braxton Deweese there. They're able to keep it going, but man, that was almost a huge moment.
It really was, and Braxton has kind of found a little bit of speed here at the end of this run. Probably just kind of been saving the heat in the tires a little bit, but Chris Smith right now falling back. Look at this move that Chris French is doing. Just rides the wall around Chris Smith on the outside, and he's going to pass him and almost pass Ryan Phillips. That just reminded me of old Ross Chastain at Martinsville.
Yeah, the old Hail Melon. I guess it works probably better on dirt than it does in NASCAR, but
No kidding.
yeah.
What a power move.
Yeah, we see Ryan Phillips, man. He's getting up here. He's battling with Braxton here for 3rd. It looks like he might be able to clear him. Not quite. We have a caution on track.
Yeah, Robert Probst's hard impact on the inside wall here. I just saw a front bumper go flying.
Wrong camera there. Yeah, we'll go back and see if we can find out what happened to Robert.
Nice, good hood shot there. Yeah, come on, turn 4.
Oh,
So the wreck,
ahead of him, yeah.
the wreck started ahead of him. That looked like that was the 80 of Rob Liedl.
Yeah, we're going to go back one more time here and see if we can see what happened with Rob. It looks like, man, maybe he got a little tight out of turn 4 here and smashes that wall, gets a little bit of air, and then it grabs him, and nothing he can do there. Nowhere for Robert to go. Kind of piles in, and yep.
Yeah, definitely kind of just looking at the little bit of inputs there. I mean, he had her, sliding and to the right, and then suddenly it just grabbed traction and just went right into the outside wall.
Yeah, I guess we got time. We'll go back one more time and look on board with Rob Liedl here as this went down.
Yeah, look at that. It just,
Oh,
you see
yeah.
what I mean? It just grabbed track. Or possibly, now we can't see, you know, throttle and brake inputs. It's possible he was trying to keep it off of, I believe that was Benson Weaver on his outside. And if he just tapped the brakes, that will also do that.
Yeah, definitely could have been a weight transfer kind of moment. You know, even just lifting on corner exit there might have unsettled the car. But yeah, definitely a lot of contact with that outside wall and Robert. And yeah, hopefully he's able to rebound and keep that thing going. But
Well, we're definitely stacked back up here. Levi's going to opt to take the outside, and he's going to jump even earlier than he did last time. Catches all of them sleeping, but Evan Pienta has been making that very, very bottom kind of line work to his advantage this run, and he's already cleared. Is he going to be able to slide up? No. But watch out for that 55. He's starting to move to the front here.
yeah, that 55 Evan Pienta machine is flying on the bottom. Definitely worked his way through the field. Probably our biggest mover of the race. But yeah, back here we got Ryan Phillips hanging on for fourth. We got Chris French. You can't ride the wall if you're riding the bottom, so probably good to keep him down there. But yeah, still bringing the heat on the 27 of Ryan Phillips. We see Chris Smith trying to peek his nose in there as we're sort of 3 wide here, coming out of 4. And
yeah, while that's going on, Evan Pienta has been side by side with Levi Cox since the beginning of this restart. These two, I mean, equally matched on the top versus the bottom. It's only a matter of time because Braxton DeWeese is now starting to reel both of them in, also running that bottom side to try and make it a 3-car battle. But it looks like Levi finally clears Evan Pienta, but gets up into the slick there, and Evan gets a better corner. Evan's not letting it go yet.
nah, and you saw it as soon as Levi cleared. He went right to that bottom to try to block that line. And yeah, it's definitely a smart move.
We have a wreck on the back straightaway. That's Jake Maki. He's going to pull it off into the infield and color quits. But the race still on for the lead right now.
Yeah, once Levi kind of blocked that line, he was able to pull away a little bit. Looks like he's exploring the top once again. And he's put about a half second on Evan Pienta since he did that. As he's up in the wall, pretty bad there. That's not good. That's going to open the door to allow Evan right back in this fight. And yeah, we got to man this battle for third and fourth and fifth back
look at
here.
that slide. Slides right up in front of Chris Finch. That was Chris Smith. That was, but was it? Ooh, a little bit of contact there. But we do have a yellow out on the racetrack. I'll have to go figure out what happened. But man, that battle up front was intense. It looks like Logan Threkel. Possible self-spin here.
Go back. Yeah, you see him trying to. Same thing we saw at the 35 earlier. It gets really aggressive entry on that middle line, and he just drifted that entire corner, really trying to push those rear tires. And I'm sure that damage on the rear end isn't helping him. But
yeah, but this is gonna kind of line us up for maybe what's only gonna be a maybe 6 to 7 lap race to the finish. Once these tires are kind of cooled back off, I mean, Evan Pienta was very, very quick on each one of these restarts. I mean, this is going to probably be probably his only shot, unless we have a green-white checker towards the end to even attack that 54 machine. But he's going to have to throw it in deep and slide in front of that 54 if he wants to stand a chance, in hopes that, you know, the crossover doesn't happen.
yeah, I mean, it's definitely go time, and yeah, it's gonna be hard to beat that 54, but so far the closest one to him has been that 55 of Evan Pienta, and yeah, we'll have to see. I still would not count out Braxton or Chris French. We've seen Chris make some bold moves here in the last handful of laps, and yeah, that kind of quietly still in the top 5 here. Ryan Phelps minding his P's and Q's tonight, and we'll see if he's able to put something together. Maybe these guys get a little racy in front of him, and he's able to capitalize. But
Yeah, he's definitely. I mean, it's not like he's just peeking in here. I mean, he's been up front, for majority of this race, and surprisingly enough, too, with Chris Smith and kind of getting moved, a little bit of contacts with the wall there. This car surprisingly looks still solid. So, anybody in this top 6 definitely still has a shot to win this thing. Not counting anybody out, but right now the hands, excuse me, everything is in the hands of Levi Cox, who has the upper advantage. And look at this, as soon as the pace car dips off, he takes off, catches the whole field sleeping, and they're all beating and banging behind him, trying to keep up. But I think Levi tagged the wall there. I think Levi tagged the wall a little bit there, but is he going to be able to slide up in front of him? No, he's not. I hope that's possibly his only opportunity there to catch that 54. But now the 54 is back on a mission here on that outside line. But let's see how he does, because 54's been struggling off in turn 1 here.
Evans sends it off into the corner.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be able to clear him on the exit here.
Oh,
He thinks better of it.
He's just barely clear for just a brief moment, and probably doesn't want to risk it with a handful of laps to go.
Yeah, but he's got that inside line rolling, putting the pressure on Levi Cox here for the lead. Levi tries to defend, but he moves up a little bit into that slick in the middle. It's going to open the door for Evan Pienta side by side down the straightaway here. Evans all the way on that bottom. Levi gets up into the grip a little bit there, and looks like he's going to have some momentum off the corner. He's a little too sideways. Wow.
Yeah, he's definitely noticed that he's struggling in turn 1, so he's trying to pinch that 55, who's making that inside line hook, but he's able to stay in front of him. Evans' only option is to either run where he's not, preferably not use the bumper on how slick this is, or he's going to have to try to pull that slider. But that 54 is starting to pull away a little bit from him. We only got 4 laps to go.
Levi Cox kind of making that bottom work now. We see Evan really trying all he can on the inside, getting over that berm and everything. And then right now, Chris French has fought his way back up to 3rd. We see him really diving it off in. And it's not quite close enough.
Yeah, Levi's going to explore the top again, while Evan Pienta is committed to that inside line. But Levi gets a huge run off of the corner, and he's probably pulled about 4 to 5 car lengths now on Evan Pienta. Evan Pienta may need another re-rack or just a slight hiccup from the 54 if he wants a shot. We're coming to the white flag this time by.
Yeah, he's going to run out of time unless he can really pull off some type of a magical move, or if that 54 makes a mistake. But right now, the Whiplash Simcams, 1 to go. Levi Cox is in control. Looks like out of turn 4 here, we are going to see Levi Cox. What's that turn 4? Yeah, Levi Cox. I'm sorry, that was awful.
Yeah, no, you're all good.
Levi Cox wins the SPARK ARCA Showdown at Knoxville in a dominating performance here. And what a great race between him and Evan Pienta, and really the whole top 5, top 10. Put on a great show.
Wow, it was a great race all the way around through the whole field. But man, Levi Cox, once he took the lead, there was no stopping that 54. He was very dominant on the outside line in 3 and 4, and was very good on the inside at 1 and 2, as well as running the top. So well deserved there, but Evan Pienta definitely put on, didn't let it get away with it. But we'll be getting everything set up so we can talk to our top 3 here in just a moment.
Yeah, we'll be back. We're going to hear from our partners at Whiplash Simcams, and on the other end, we'll have our top 3 interviews. right, we are back and we are ready for our podium interviews here from Knoxville tonight. Yeah, we're going to see. Right now, we don't have our third place in the Discord, but we're going to start off with Evan Pienta. I believe Justin Wilson is called up with Evan.
Yeah, Evan Pienta, you got a copy?
I do.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, man. You were probably one of the hardest chargers of tonight's race, driving through the field. Almost had a shot there at the end, making that inside line just work to your advantage. Do you think you had anything if we only just had another restart or a few more to go?
Maybe. I mean, the only thing I really there was a couple times there where I could have slid up off of two on the restarts on Levi to try and get the lead and maybe mess him up to try and just secure that inside line, but I didn't want to take out both of us or wreck my race. So I thought a couple times I had it there where we were side by side. If I could just kind of, push it in and maybe force him to make a mistake trying to run the top and maybe clip the wall and get the momentum off. But I mean, I was a little nervous and surprised, kind of, why nobody else was really running the bottom. I mean, I struggled to run the top in qualifying. You saw that, and it just seemed like I could just, if I just was committed to the bottom, running right on that berm. I just felt okay with just throttle control and keeping it sideways. I guess I'm kind of used to keeping it sideways, so just holding it down there sideways enough was what I was used to try and just stay under those guys and force them to make mistakes off the corners. But
Well, I kind of want to talk about running that bottom. Do you think, or did you feel like, because on this restart, you were just so dominant on the bottom compared to when they were running the top. Do you think that the bottom were heating up those tires more and it kind of hurt the car after a few laps? Or was it just everybody getting back into a rhythm?
I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, I was definitely trying to monitor my tire temps. I know, like, crossing over that, there's a slick patch down there that you're crossing over every time, so the rears were probably getting hot there. But I mean, on restarts, I just felt like it was more of more people were fighting for the top, so there was more checkups there, and kind of sliding it in and then cutting off on the restarts. Versus if you just commit to the bottom, you're rolling around the bottom and you're cutting off the track and then just powering off. Those cautions also, I mean, like you said, help cool down the tires, so I could make another charge there every restart. But I don't know. It felt like, I mean, I didn't run the top a lot that race, so I can't really say how different it felt. But I just think that there was more of, I felt more comfortable having the berm there, and it was a sense of like gauge on making sure I was throttle controlling, just wrapping it around there. Versus if I'm sending it in on the top, it's like I'm not ripping the fence, so it's I can't really tell how close I am or if I'm under driving it or over driving it into the corner or off the corner. So it was kind of just another crutch there to be on the inside and hold it there. And thankfully the berm wasn't super aggressive with the front left front there going into each corner.
Yeah, most definitely. But hey, man, again, congratulations on the second place finish tonight. Before we let you go, is there anybody you'd like to thank that brought you here to get that second place tonight?
I mean, you guys putting the broadcast on, everybody at Spark who puts on the league, here, special events, and then the Wednesday night leagues. All the partners that support Spark, my teammates over at F Sky Motorsports. I know James ran. I think he finished ninth, so he had a good rebound there. I know he was complaining about struggling back there, but he got it figured out, and he's a hard charger as always. But yeah, everybody over there, everybody at the IUPUI gang, Evan Pinta Designs, Epic Machinery, and yeah, my family.
Well, man, go celebrate with the team, and hopefully we'll be talking to you again in the podium come next week.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Alrighty, Johnny, that was second place, Evan Pienta. But the question is, who do you want? You want Chris French or do you want Levi?
I think we go Chris French first, our third place finisher here tonight. Chris French, man, you started off this race really strong. You kind of fell back there a little bit, but you rallied back through the field there, man. Take us through that race and just some of the bold moves that we saw you making out there to come home with a podium.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know a ton of what I did there. I don't run dirt. Anytime I've ran it in officials, I'm absolute trash or I piss somebody off. So Michael J. Steele, who does paints, kind of gave me some tips, and I took that and ran with it. I think what happened in the main was maybe tire management or just lack of skill there, or a lack of understanding of dirt racing and reading the dirt. So I think that was the edge there, but I'll take it. I wanted a poster though. That's what I was going for, but I'll take it.
I'll tell you what, especially early on in that race, man, you were really putting heat on Levi Cox there, and yeah, just a few spots short, but still an impressive show tonight. Definitely, man, made it exciting for us to watch. We saw you ride the wall a couple times and make that work, and yeah, before we let you go, man, anybody you want to thank, sponsors, shout outs, teammates, friends, family at home watching, have at it.
Yeah, shout out to everyone that ran this. It was really clean. I know, like that last lap going through 3 and 4, Braxton got by me and I managed to pull a move off there and we didn't touch or nothing. So shout out to everyone for the close and tight racing. That was a lot of fun. Thank you guys for putting this on and doing the giveaways. And then shout out to localmobilehomebuyer.com and La Lajita Mexican Restaurant in White Pine, Tennessee. And all the guys at Big Fast. It was a really good run, and hopefully we get something like this on the schedule in a season.
Yeah, hey, well, if it's anything like tonight, it would not be a bad idea. It was an incredible show all night long, and yeah, I like that idea. Maybe we'll have to work that out. But yeah, hey, until later this week here, we'll talk to you, man.
Sounds good. Thank you, Johnny.
All right, that was Chris French, our third place finisher tonight. Really aggressive run there to get back up there, and yeah, great job getting it done, getting up onto the podium.
Yeah, well, let's go ahead and talk with our race winner tonight, Levi Cox. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Levi, we definitely seen once you took the lead, man, you were gone, and those restarts kind of bunched everything back up. But tell us a little bit about that battle there on those last kind of quarter half of that race. Quarter half, what am I talking? The last bit of that race there with Evan Pienta right there beside you.
Yeah, it was a fun race. A lot of learning. Chris, I thought I had decent speed, and then the heat race, Chris just went off and left everybody. So I was like, okay, well, I've got a lot to learn. So kind of try to hit his entry and center there for a little while, and then that started working, and I think maybe his line that he was running kind of went away from him just a little bit. And I was definitely searching, trying different things. I liked going in a little bit high and then cutting across the slick stuff and getting a good run out. That seemed to work a little bit. And then, yeah, I seen Evan coming up in the mirror, just ripping that bottom. He definitely forced me to have to go down there and give that a try and just see what I could do with that. So it was a little bit all over the place. A lot of fun, though.
Yeah, I definitely wanted to bring that up because I know you were committed to running that outside the whole time. Was kind of running the bottom was a did you kind of want to go down there, or were you just forced to go down there?
In practice I ran it a little bit just because I thought that would be the line. And then again after heat I was like, okay, well, it's gonna have to be at the top. But yeah, once I seen Evan just making time up down there, he kind of forced my hand a little bit to at least give it a shot, see what he was doing, see how it was working, and kind of realized that he could rip the bottom and the entry and middle, and even with the side by side there was just not enough power to get off those corners underneath somebody. So then I kind of migrated back to the top to just keep in that rhythm a little bit.
Well, man, before we let you go and celebrate with your teams, anybody you'd like to thank for bringing home that W tonight?
Yeah, all you guys at Slingshot Media, everybody at Spark Racing, all the admins, they've done a great job. It's been a pleasure racing with all the guys and just getting to know everybody. All the league sponsors, and then of course Cody Glenn Cox Music on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and Spotify. He just come out with a cover of Johnson Boys. It's a very good song. My cousin's actually in the music video for it, so it's a pretty neat deal there. And then just thank the Lord Lord for letting me have a little bit of fun on a Monday night.
Of course, man, and we are thankful that you're here and able to join us. And we'll definitely have to check out the old Spotify. Check that song out. Definitely interested in hearing that. But hey, man, congratulations on the win. Go celebrate with the team, and we'll probably catch you in the podium next week.
That sounds good. Thank you, guys. Y'all have a great night.
Well, Johnny, I'll tell you what, man. And if this makes sense from what I'm going to say, but so far this season, this was one of the dirtiest yet cleanest races that we've seen all season.
Yeah, that's real funny. But you're not wrong. Yeah, definitely, man, it definitely opens my eyes a little bit. We did this as kind of a one-off, thinking, you know, it could go bad, but this was a great race. These guys put on a great show here tonight, and yeah, definitely one for the books, you know.
Yeah, we definitely have to check mark the next schedule build of kind of watch the replay of this race. What a phenomenal race tonight. We've seen, I mean, it wasn't just one person dominating. We've seen all different stages of the race, who prevailed the best. We've seen, you know, Chris Smith dominate early in the heat race on a tacky track with Chris French, and then, like I said, Levi Cox, once he took the lead and the track started to set in, he was dominant. But Evan Pienta, you know, surprised us right there at the end, and he was able to work that slick track and almost have the shot for the win.
Yeah, it was definitely, man, it was exciting to watch, and yeah, that was great. We're going to go through our results here before we get out of here. And yeah, we just talked to the top three: Levi Cox, Evan Pienta, and Chris French. Braxton Deweese was strong all night, kind of lost that third spot right at the end there, but yeah, definitely impressive from him. He almost went back-to-back on the poster giveaways, so just a couple spots shy, but yeah, after that, we have Chris Smith in the 28. It's been strong in this ARCA season all season long. And Ryan Phillips coming out tonight, coming home 6th. Really strong run from him. Devin Jack said that he wasn't good at dirt and that he would be in 75th place before this race started. But brought it home in the top 10 in a respectable 7th place. Chase Berry kind of rebounded after that early incident with that contact to the inside wall, coming home 8th. Good run from Chase. We have James Danforth in that 88 coming home 9th. We didn't talk much about him tonight, except for in the heat when he was upside down, but definitely ended up a lot better than that for him tonight for top 10. And then Benson Weaver rounding out that top 10 in that number 1. Really strong run from Benson, and yeah, good to see.
Yeah, Dan Berg in the 98. Didn't talk too much about him tonight either, but pulled off an 11th place finish. Laura Wiseman caught up in a early crash, finished 12th. Rob Lito, we saw with that hard crash in the outside wall there, trying to avoid Benson Weaver, finished 13th. Tom Lickert, who won our consolation race, finished 14th. Jacob Nickerson rounded out 15th with Robert Brose, we saw in that crash earlier, in 16th. Matthew Cessna finished on the lead lap, 17th. And then the remainder drivers that you see here were caught up in a crash and did not finish, which is Logan Thruckell, Jake Mackey, Jacob Phillips, Brian Bropes, Ryan Andrews, and Patrick O'Toole called it early, as well as Steve Vest in the number 60. Right on our 24 there. So, yeah, I mean, solid race. 17 drivers finished on the lead lap. We had 3 cautions tonight. Couldn't ask for a better race.
Yeah, I mean, man, from the very beginning, and even the cautions we had, most of them were just self-spins or, you know, very light contact. It was nothing very crazy, and yeah, really clean race. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, without a doubt, but also looking forward to getting back to our regular season.
Yeah, we can go over our schedule one more time here, and yeah, right here next week, you'll see us at Dover for the Evan Pienta Designs 100 there. Then we have Kern and Kansas rounding out the season. It's been an incredible season. It started off a little rough, but we've had a good run of great green flag. Not all green flag, but some pretty good racing here in the last few weeks. So definitely looking to cap off this season on a high note. And yeah, you can catch all that action right here on Slingshot Racing Media. You can also check out our Wednesday series with the trucks. We'll be at Auto Club this week. Same thing right at the end of the season. Then we're off to Dover and Homestead to round that one off. And yeah, also Thursday night, I believe this week we are covering the Road and Plate season finale on a Thursday night. You'll see me, Justin, and Ellis in the booth for that. And then, yeah, following that next week, we'll be right back with Mystic Racing League. And yes, man, it's been a very busy couple weeks here for Slingshot TV. And yeah, it's definitely a lot of exciting stuff. So. Yeah, so before we go, I do want to go over. We want to thank everybody for coming out in the chat. We did have a couple that we missed. We had Ella saying Piet is going to steal the win. We had Scott on Scott saying that he's watching from the bathtub. And we had Ronnie Miller saying fun race to watch. Good job, Braxton. And yeah, we had Ella saying we should do this more often. We really should. I had a good time calling it. I'm sure a lot of these drivers had a good time racing it as well.
I just kind of want to back up. Did you say watching from the bathtub?
Yeah, I had to pull that one up. That was an interesting comment. But
Perfect.
Yes.
Perfect way to end it off.
Absolutely. I think that's going to do it for tonight. We appreciate everybody for watching, subscribing, and commenting. And yeah, until next week, we will see you.